And welcome back to the Constitutionals. This is, if you didn't know, I'm your host, Chad White. And also, if you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for comedy.com. I just took a huge inhale there, so be ready for that. It already happened, so shut up anyway. This is the premier podcast, comedy.com, where there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. It's a comedy website. Go there for news and reviews and tips and tricks on all the latest comedy games in the world. Again, this is me, Chad, and today we got a not a packed show, so let's take it easy. Let's take it light. Let's go as slow as we can possibly go for the next 20 some odd minutes because I really don't have a lot to talk about. So, okay. Huge news, huge development in my life. This is the biggest development in my entire life for I have a sad, lonely, slow life. So I was looking, traipsing. I love that word, traipsing through. I don't know if I'm using it right, through HBO's catalog of movies that they have right now. For the record, that was September. What month is it? July. Jesus, it's today's the 31st. This comes out August 1st. But on July the 29th of 2017, I learned a mystery that has been corrected in my head. It's been in there for maybe 17 years. Okay. I'm going to say close to 20 because it has been in there for a long time. All right. I found a movie that I've been thinking about, could not figure out the name. But I remember one scene from it, one freaking scene that has been stuck, burned inside of my brain for decades, 2 decades, for almost 2 decades. Okay. The scene of a kid, a very short, nerdy kid, probably had some type of disease, and he was at a baseball game in a dugout, or not a dugout. He was about to bat. He was at bat, and there's a whole crowd watching. He hit the ball. The ball flies. It's a home run. Goes over a fence. It hits and it kills a lady. Guys, this is a comedy movie. I just slapped my knee. The movie is called Simon Birch. Did not know the name, and I have been it's been just in my brain for so long, just scratching and telling me, oh, you don't know the name of this movie, but you remember this scene. It's so vivid. I remember that baseball flying, for that scene going for so long. And finally I know I have this movie. I don't have it, but it's on HBO. I'm not going to watch it. I watched a trailer for it, and that was in the trailer. And well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But I did type in Simon Birch baseball. Oh my gosh, I was ecstatic to see that woman get hit in the head again. Oh, it felt so good. Okay, so if you don't know what Simon Birch is, I really should have gone with this beforehand. Simon Birch is a movie. Came out in 1998, so this has been in my head since 1998. So that's not quite as long as I thought it was. But, oh, you know what? That is almost 20 years. Oh my God. Man, look how time flies. Okay, so Simon Birch it's a comedy drama. This is from Wikipedia, loosely based on the book A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving, and it was directed and written for the screen by Mark Steven Johnson. We'll take a look at him later, but I guess it's a religious movie, so I guess I saw it in some type of church context. And here's a plot. Simon Birch believes that God made him for a special heroic purpose. Simon Birch is a very short, like I said, short boy, and he probably has some development issues. So anyway, continue on. Simon and his best friend Joe Wentworth were both outcast in their tiny New England town. Joe's the illegitimate son of the town beauty, and Simon, age 12, is so small that he still plays the infant in the Jesus in the Christmas current pageant, the church Christmas pageant. I need to start this entire podcast over. I'm having trouble. Anyway, in the summer of 1964, their friendship is put to the test when Little League Simon hits a foul ball that strikes and kills Joe's mother. That's not funny. So that's what I remember. That's what I remember. All right. Together they find out who Joe's father is. Boy, that's okay. All right. Then they ride a bus. The bus crashes into a lake. This is all coming back to me. And then Simon dies in the bus crash. Oh my God. This all came back to me. That's all one movie. I cannot believe. I guess either I watched it at such a young age, which I was 5 or 6 at the time, or we watched it so many times that I remember everything, because I remember seeing that and thinking, this is too sad. And this was a comedy movie. Now, here's who in this movie. We had Ian Michael Smith, who is currently at age 30, 3'1". He's done nothing else. That's it. That's all I'm saying. He's short because of Morquio syndrome, Morquio syndrome. It's a rare enzymatic disorder affecting the circulatory, muscular, and skeletal system. So I was right. Did have a developmental issue. And Joseph Mazzello was the Joe Wentworth, and then Jim Carrey was the narrator. Good for him. Ashley Judd starred as, I guess, the beautiful mom. Oliver Pratt, David. Then it's just a bunch of people I don't know. The writer director was Mark Steven Johnson. He did Grumpy Old Men. He wrote Grumpy Old Men. Wrote Grumpy Old Men, the sequel classic. He wrote Jack Frost. The same year they came out. The same exact year. Boy, was that a year. He wrote and directed Daredevil 2003, and he was the producer of Elektra, a Ghost Rider. Oh, jeez, he is not. I don't want to hate on this guy. He is not good. He does not have a good track record. I'm sorry. That's really inappropriate for me to have that loud noise on. That was Creative Cloud telling me that it has been updated. Good for you, Adobe. Anyway, while I'm recording, that's weird. Anyway, I want to move off that, but it's insane. That movie has been sitting in my head for that long, just waiting. He had this kid. I knew he had dwarfism. He died in a bus crash. He hit a baseball on a lady's head. That is so insane. And I remember, I was scrolling. I remember, of course, it happened 2 days ago. I was scrolling through HBO's movies, and then I see this kid, the kid that they have on the thing as the picture. See him? He's short, and I think this looks really familiar. I click on it. So I was doing it on my Xbox, and it was super slow. Should have done it somewhere else. And then I look and I see, oh my gosh, this is the movie. And everything just clicked into place. Insane. I remembered it from 2 scenes. Okay. Let's moving on to The Incredible Jessica James. Okay, guys. This is a movie written and starring Jessica Williams of Daily Show fame, but I know her mostly from Two Dope Queens. Love Jessica Williams so much. Jay Willie, as her fans and friends call her, which I'm only one of those things, and I'm definitely not a friend. It's a great movie. I enjoyed it. It's very short. They had a lot. I did write a review for it, and this is the first movie review I've written in a minute. And there were a lot of cliches in the script. I love you, Jessica. I love you, Jay Willie. But there was a lot of stuff in there that I don't want to say contradicted who she is as a person, but the way she talks on the podcast and the way she wrote this movie, it's kind of like, feminism and all this crap, and not crap, whatever. I don't want to offend anybody, but anyway, feminism, all that stuff, and the way that the movie came out, it kind of felt like she didn't have to put it's a romantic comedy. She ends up with somebody in the end. With I'm not gonna lie, she ends up with the guy she's supposed to end up with, which is Chris O'Dowd in the movie, and because they start dating in basically in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and it's just a lot of they broke up at one point and they got back together and then blah blah blah. It's just a lot of cliches. See if you can pick and choose. This is your homework. Watch the movie. It's on Netflix. See if you can pick and choose what cliches there are. Report back to me, send it in, and I'll give you a grade. And you can email that to c+comedy@c+comedy@c+comedy.c+comedy. So it's 4 C+ comedies. But it's seriously, in all seriousness, I really did enjoy the movie. I'm glad she got to do that. She's 27 years old. She started on television at 22. So she's been kicking butt for 5 years. I'm 24. And the biggest thing I've done was interview a writer from Conan and Jen Kirkman. So Laurie Kilmartin was the writer from Conan. Actually, I've interviewed 2 writers from Conan. Thank you very much. Andre Duboucher, whatever you pronounce his name. Moving on. I also watched Nerve on Saturday. I wanted to see this movie in theaters. It was Dave Franco. and Emma Roberts, I believe. And it's about the kids in New York, and they're playing a game. It's truth or dare, but without the dare. Without the truth. That's the only way I can describe this movie to people. And that's the way the movie described it to me. So I guess that's good. And it's very bright. It's got a personality. Whereas a lot of movies, I'm gonna compare it to another teen movie that came out, Project X. That came out in 2012. I assume 2012, 2013. And it's a movie that was basically built to showcase this huge party scene in Act 3. So I'm just speaking in the script terms. Slow down, Chad. So stupid. So there's the big party make up the last half of the last 20 minutes, the last 30 minutes of the movie, and because that's what they're building to. That's the action they're going to. Then the peak is when the guy comes with the flamethrower and he wants to kill everybody, kill that guy, whatever. That movie sucks. And so that movie was trying to be the cool kid in high school, and it really did peak. It peaked itself. Whereas Nerve kind of graduated, to use the terms of high school, it graduated from high school and made something of itself. It was very pretty. While it did, like the incredible Jessica James, have a lot of issues with the scripting and stuff, it was very fast. It moved along quickly. Emma Roberts, who just did not like the game beforehand, said, "I want to join in on this game." Maybe within 5 to 10 minutes of the movie starting. It was fantastic. And Dave Franco he was there. He went along with everything. It was very strange, and you kind of just had to suspend disbelief. Whereas with Project X, you see that movie and you think this is too much, and there's too many people there, and they got to get out of that house. That's like it's like every horror movie. This is too much. There's too many people there. They got to get out of the house. That's how I was watching The Conjuring 2. I love it. I like the Conjuring series. Anyway. Thought it was good. Then moving on to Win It All. Win It All starring Jake Johnson of New Girl fame. That guy can work. He made the movie with Joe Swanberg. I believe they co-wrote it together, but it's a movie about Jake Johnson. He's a gambler. I guess he plays cards, and he's not very good at it. He loses a lot, and then one of his friends goes to jail. The friend asks him to hold on to an unknown amount of money in a bag, and Jake Johnson, of course, spends all the money. It's called Win It All because in the third act he loses it all and he wins it back somehow. It's a fine movie. Jolo Truglio's in there. There's a beautiful Hispanic woman that plays Jake Johnson's love interest, and Keegan-Michael Key was in there as well. So I like that a lot. It was a good movie. Watch it. It's on Netflix. I enjoyed it. It's an indie movie. I love these indie movies. Okay, finally, moving on to the main topic. With how much longer in this episode? There's 7 minutes left. Okay, I'm sorry. Netflix comedy shows are too long. Hear me out. All right, I have a very big issue. I was born in, unlike the 5-year-olds of today, I was born and raised on network TV. Okay, everything's made for television is a 3-act structure because there might be 4 acts if you're a drama, but for movies there's typically 3 to 4 acts or sometimes 5. I'm not really good at this stuff, so don't use me as an authoritarian on it. But Netflix typically shows are made with 3-act structures. So there's how the plot starts, the rising action, then the falling action. So Netflix comedy shows, when a network TV show or a broadcast TV show would be maybe 21, 22 minutes, 23 if they really fought for it, long with commercial breaks. Now Netflix people have this freedom to make shows that are like 30 minutes long, 33 minutes long, and then they're half-hour comedies. So when you're somebody who still watches, I still watch regular TV because that's just the easiest thing. And there's still a lot of great shows. There are 454 new television shows. I'm going to keep saying that because that is a ridiculous number. 454. Last year there were 430 something. It went up. The number went up. Okay. So anyway, I watch a lot of TV shows. All right. IFC, ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, sometimes CW. There's Comedy Central, HBO. There's just so many shows. Okay, and so with network and cable, with broadcasting cable, their shows, half-hour shows, typically run the 22 minutes. All right. And then when you get to HBO, yes, they do, and the Showtimes and the Stars and the Cinemaxes, yes, their shows do go over the hours, or to hour and like 5, hour and 3. This past Game of Thrones episode was an hour and 2 minutes long, but they slotted for an hour and 5. So, or Insecure or Ballers or Vice, anything can go over the 30-minute runtime to initially be 28 minutes. There's a lot of Veep episodes that are just 26 minutes long. They just need the extra 3 minutes to do whatever. So it's difficult. I mean, for those you kind of expect it, but it's difficult when you're watching a broad city. And admittedly, the jokes for that episode are getting a little bit tired. You don't want to watch 27 minutes of Alana again hitting on Abby, because I don't know why I said that, but that's what you don't want to see. And so when I'm watching Friends from College, which is just not good, and Glow and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and mostly Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, that's what really spurred this. It's simply too long. Jokes. Is it a movie or is it a TV show? So you can eat. I know Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt used to, before it was bought by Netflix. It was an NBC pilot. NBC didn't pick it up. Dummies. They could have had another good show, but they don't know what they're doing. NBC didn't pick it up. I'll make them a show if they want a show. If they want to pass on a show, I'll do it. I'll make them a show. NBC didn't pick it up, and so it went to Netflix. So that first season was written with broadcast in mind. It's got all of the act breaks, which is what you need for a comedy. You want to have that. You want to close that scene for a comedy TV show. You want to be able to end that first act right and know where you want to do it. I mean, at least that's what I wanted. At least that's what I want to see in a show. Like to me, that signals to the audience, the story is going to go to another level at that point. Okay, Kimmy wants to. I want to choose a story from the second season. Kimmy wants to go to college. Okay, it was a story arc. Kimmy wants to go to college. She meets Daveed Diggs at college. And now he's leaving college in the third act. He's leaving that college and going to a better college. Next episode, Kimmy wants to go to that better college. What does Kimmy do to get to that better college? She does something, and then third act, she's in the better college because she's rowing and she somehow, and I don't know. I just spoiled half of Kimmy Schmidt, but she ends up rowing for Columbia University. So we got this act, we got this structure, we got the act structure and everything, but when it comes to streaming, it's just difficult to have that in there. So now I know I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, period, and a lot of the people say, no, working for, I think I've mentioned this before on this, whatever this is, but but a lot of the people say, no, working for Netflix is great. They don't say anything. They just say, make the show, and then blah. They don't have any notes, blah, blah, blah. But maybe it's time, Netflix, to just squeeze a little bit and give a little bit more notes. Just because you can not give notes doesn't mean you shouldn't give notes. Case in point, shows like Flaked. Flaked was brought back for a second season. Don't know why. It wasn't critically lauded. A lot of people just don't like Will Arnett. I love Will Arnett. I don't know if he can star in something. Up All Night. I do like that show on NBC. Was canceled as well. That's going to be retooled into a multi-camera sitcom. It was a single camera. It was going to be retooled into a multi-camera sitcom with a stage and a live audience. I don't know how they were going to do that. It's so strange. Anyway, that's knowledge. That's knowledge, guys. I could not. I didn't do well in school. I graduated college and high school. I cannot tell you anything from there. But I remember something from a show that was canceled 2 seasons in, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So anyway, I don't know. I just think these shows are too long. I think it's time to start cutting some stuff. And I really also, that kind of goes along with my theory that I've had for years, that Netflix they don't do ratings. This is not a theory. They don't do ratings. They don't tell the creators how many views get what. I know that because David Wayne said the same thing for Wet Hot American Summer, the first day of camp. They never got ratings. So so no one gets ratings. All right, everybody says they don't get ratings. So when Netflix is a network, when Netflix doesn't give out ratings and they just keep re-upping these shows, they're saying that you're doing fine. This is great. No, you shouldn't. It's just what they're doing with Adam Sandler. They're saying your stuff is getting clicks. Is anybody watching it all the way through? We don't know. I mean, we do know, but we're not going to tell you. We're just going to say you're getting clicks, so you're going to continue making 4 more movies for us. Is that fine? Adam Sandler's not going to say no because it's money. It's $50 million or whatever they paid Dave Chappelle for 2 already produced specials. And so I don't know. And then they just keep acquiring stand-up comedians, and then those sets go on for the hours, or just, I don't know. What I'm saying is Netflix needs to tighten that vice grip. I know they have a grip, okay? And I don't know the validity of this article that I found this morning, but it said, I don't want to speak out of turn. It said something like I don't have it. Netflix is spending all right. Here it is. It's from Uprocks. It says Netflix is reportedly, quote, bleeding cash to the tune of $20 billion and growing. So, and then that's just them acquiring stuff. That's them buying the rights to things just to have them on. So here's the quote. And I mean, and this means this means nothing in the long run. But the quote, the company is pouring money into expensive prestige projects and expects to spend at least $6 billion in content this year. Its net cash outflow this year is the forecast to grow to as much as $2.5 billion, up from $1.7 billion last year. So what Netflix is doing essentially is they're using they don't have liquid money. I don't believe they have liquid money. I'm like, I don't know. Well, they might. I think they do. All right. Anyway, but what they're using the investors' money to buy these shows, and then like I said, I think I might have said this a couple episodes ago, but Netflix wants to aim for 500 hours of original content by the end of the year, and that means roughly half of the stuff on Netflix at that point will be original. So Netflix wants to use that stuff, use that clout, and eventually get to like HBO and produce their own stuff and not air, the Friends reruns or whatever, and give that crap to Hulu. So, I mean, they have that much money to do that, and so they're just investing in themselves. So they spend this stuff. They buy Incredible Jessica James. They're betting on there's a subsect of niche indie comedian viewers who are ready to watch that movie and shows like that. So I don't know. It's insane. I shouldn't have gotten into that tangent when the episode was supposed to end, but I don't know. Netflix, just shorten the stuff. All right. It's tell them to cut a joke. A lot of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 2 went on too long for me. I do this a lot. I'm watching it. I'm in the middle of an episode of a lot of Friends from College, which is, I wanted that show to be so good. When I first heard about it, first read the press release, I thought, man, Keegan-Michael Key, Colby Smulders, Billy Eichner, Nat Faxon, and Fred Savage. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a good show. Then I'm watching it, and it's just, they're the worst. I'll write a review of it. So, just tell them to cut a joke. And every time I'm watching a show like that, or Glow, or Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, I'm always pausing and stopping the episode almost around the 20-minute mark, the 23-minute mark, and I'm thinking, man, there's still 7 minutes left in this. What kind of story are you telling? So, anyway, I'm just saying. I know it sucks to cut stuff. I write, and I have to cut stuff all the time. So, whatever. Anyway, boy, this is a long episode of, I was about to say news time, of the Constitutionals. Hey, if you do want to watch the news time, you can always head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits that only I can provide you with. You can also follow us on Twitter, at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter, at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. The Tumblr has been down for so many months. I just slipped into an old news time outro. Anyway, don't go to Tumblr. It's not good. It's done. I haven't updated it in a long time. Follow us on Instagram at C Plus Comedy. Twitter's, like I said, we got a review going up. I just interviewed Josh Johnson. He has a Comedy Central special and an album coming out this year. So just go to that stuff. Go to the website. Look at that stuff right now. Do it. All right. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Come back next week for a new episode of Constitutionals. Bye.